Do you think you know how the proposed development will affect the values protected by the ERA? The ERA says we all have the right to clean air, pure water, and the preservation of scenic, historic, aesthetic, and natural values of the environment. Do you think you know what is encompassed by aesthetic values? Do you know how the proposed development affects aesthetic values? Do you know what is encompassed by natural values? Do you know how the proposed Crebilly development affects natural values? Do you know how the proposed Crebilly development affects scenic values? Do you know how the proposed Crebilly development affects clean air? Do you know how the proposed Crebilly development affects pure water? And by the way, these are not the only constitutional values to be protected. Additional or derivative values include ecosystem services protection, farm preservation and protection, soil protection and agricultural soil preservation, floodplain management and protection, wetlands preservation and protection, wetlands functions and values protection and preservation, watershed protection and preservation, groundwater protection and recharge, protection of sensitive biological resources and biodiversity protection, wildlife habitat protection and preservation to avoid, among other things, displacement or extinction, open space protection and preservation, controlling sprawl, preventing adverse socioeconomic benefits, preventing noise pollution, preventing light pollution, preventing climate change, and protecting natural climate change solutions. So, do you know how the proposed Crebilly development affects those values? Has Toll identified what are the adverse impacts from the proposed Crebilly development? Has Toll shown you what they will do if the protected values are adversely protected? Do they have any plans to reduce significant harm? So, in the land development process, will a comprehensive assessment occur of the manner in which a proposed major land development affects the protected constitutional values? When does it happen? Will it happen at the SALDO level? Will it happen when the Conservation District issues erosion and sedimentation permits? Will it happen when DEP reviews the sewage plans under the Pennsylvania Sewage Facilities Act? Will it happen when Westtown Township issues building permits? Will it happen in connection with the traffic impact analysis required by the township and PennDOT? No. It will happen now, here and now, in the Crebilly conditional use application. And if it doesn't happen now, it will never happen. And so I maintain that you cannot approve the Crebilly conditional use application because you presently are unable to determine if the proposed land development complies with the ERA. So here's one final thought. You turned down Westtown School's proposal to build a small turf field with outdoor lighting because of the potential impact on neighbors and traffic. To be consistent, you certainly cannot approve the Crebilly proposal, which has the potential to adversely affect the environment by many, many orders of magnitude in comparison. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, is there any other public comment for tonight? All right, I'm not hearing any. Could we get the microphone back to Mr. Edelman, please? Mr. Edelman, similar to Crebilly 1, the board would like to provide an opportunity for findings of fact and conclusions of law by the parties, and obviously by the applicant, by the planning commission, by frankly any of the parties. And in thinking what we did with Crebilly 1, the thought process was to allow 30 days for the submission of those, essentially those briefs, which would take you to a close of business on or before August 11th. Do you have any objection to that request?
No, no objection.
And then the board would render its decision within 45 days of that date. Do you have any objection to that timeline?
No objection.
I believe the 45th day actually falls on a Saturday, so if I did my math correctly, the decision would be on or before Monday, September 27th. So anything further from the applicant this evening?
Nothing further.
Anything further from the board this evening? Sure, so we're going to allow 30 days for any party to submit findings of fact and conclusions of law. Again, if I did my math correctly, that 30th day will be by August 11th, by close of business. And then the board, pursuant to the MPC, will have 45 days to render its decision, which I believe takes us out to September 27th. That's a Monday.
Is there a way that holiday vacation, prime time, if you go to August 13th, 2 days?
I'm sorry, I can't agree to that.
Did you have any objection to just allowing until August 13th for the submission of the findings of fact?
I understand the request, and I'm sorry I don't have the ability to extend the date any further.
So not changing the date of the decision, just the date for the briefing?
Correct.
I'm hearing this on for 2 years. You can't extend 2 days. Thank you, sir.
Sorry, Kristen, it's out of my hands.
Anything else from the board this evening? No? All right, ladies and gentlemen, that will conclude the hearing as...
Wait. So, Mr. Raven, if you add 2 days, it's still the same date for announcing the decision. Because of Saturday, it should be Monday anyway.
I understand the request. Under other circumstances, I would agree to it. I cannot agree to it at this time.
And is the applicant mindful that the board in its discretion can accept late filings?
The board is free to do whatever the board is empowered to do.
All right, so with that, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to conclude the proceedings tonight. And we're going to go off the record. Thank you all.
Thank you, everyone.